Welcome, good morning. This is Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I am the community spiritual leader here at the center, and I am delighted to welcome you this morning, even though you're in a little bit different configuration because of all the stuff going on in here this morning. And for those of you online, welcome also. Happy to have you with us. So this is the first Sunday of December. We're almost finished with 2023, and it has been an amazing 40th anniversary year for us here at Golden Gate. So this is our time to say good morning to each other. So I'm going to invite you now to stand up and walk around, introduce yourselves to people you don't know, welcome one another back if you haven't seen anybody in a while, and just generally make each other welcome. And you online, please do the same. Give yourself a hug, get another cup of coffee, take a little walk around the house, pet your pets, and come back. We're going to sing in just a moment. All right. So our our musician for this morning is Daniel Namad. And, we always enjoy Daniel when he's here. And, remember that Daniel is very chatty. So the introduction to the first song is not particularly long. But for the last song, I just warn you now, he talks for about 2 minutes before the singing actually starts. So at the end, when I tell you to stand for the blessing and the closing song, stand for the blessing together and then sit down until I signal you again, just in case I forget to tell you later, because it'll be a while before we sing, and we'll just let him say his stuff to us for a couple of minutes, and then we'll sing the closing song, okay? So Daniel has been doing music since 1999. He has sold over 110,000 CDs. And his music has been performed on Saturday Night Live, The Voice, American Idol, the Super Bowl, and the Today Show. Not by him necessarily, but his music has been. So this is Daniel. Let's prepare to stand and sing the opening song. We've sung this before, so I think you'll catch on to it pretty quickly if you don't remember it right away off the bat. So stand up now. We're going to sing with Daniel. He won't talk too long this time, I promise. Oh, we can't hear him at all. Hang on.
Let's start off the morning. Here we go. This day
Is a witness to my sacred purpose, to all that I'm meant to be. This day is a witness. You sound good. To my sacred purpose, to all that I'm meant to be. Letting it in, letting it flow, letting it go where it will go. Letting the power of your presence show the way. Letting it in, letting you know, I'm letting you lead, that I might follow, being a witness to your presence every day.
Ready? This soul is a witness.
This soul is distorting a little bit, Dana. Letting it in, letting it, that's better. Letting it go where it will go. Letting the power of your presence show the way. Letting it in, letting you know. I'm letting you lead, that I might follow. Being a witness to your presence every day.
This life
is a witness to my rightful purpose, to all that I've come to be. This life is a witness to my rightful purpose, for all that I've come to be.
Bring it down a little.
And I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life.
Sing it again.
I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life.
Whoa, whoa.
And I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love. I will bear witness to your love for all my life. For all my life.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. All right. So now that we've greeted one another and sung, we're going to take our center within. And in this moment this morning, I really want to acknowledge that our morning practitioner, Leslie Janetti, is not here this morning because her brother is very ill and she's taking care of him. So she's not going to be with us for a few weeks. And please hold her and her brother in your heart. So I'm going to go ahead and do an opening prayer for us right now. And I just invite you to silence your cell phone so it doesn't distract you or anyone else, and come within right now. So as we turn within together, we first bring our attention to the divine mystery, the infinite presence, the source of all that is. We know that this one flows through everyone and everything, everywhere and all the time in its omnipresence. And we are made from that. What else could we be made from? We're made from that one, and within us are the qualities we're seeking. So right now, today, I recognize that this morning's celebration is an opening, an opportunity for us, that as we open, each one of us receives what it is that we need today, from the music or the talk or the friendship and fellowship or the craft fair, whatever it may be. We receive a blessing because of our intention and our willingness and our readiness to do so. And we're deeply grateful to receive the gift that we need right here, right now, today. So we know that everyone involved in the morning service and all of us who listen and sing and participate are a part of the divine expression of the one coming forward into all of us as unity and blessing us individually. And we're deeply grateful for this good right now. So we let this prayer go into the creative law of mind and spirit, which always says yes. We let it go and let it unfold just as it's meant to right now. And so it is.
go wrong, it's natural to wonder, what celestial rule did I break? When things go right, it's logical to ponder, what credit can I take? But the truth is so much easier. I don't need a master plan. I can live here in the moment, 'cause my life is in good hands. I don't need to know where the wind blows, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. Well, still I find I'm crying out for answers. Guess I'm still craving control, and still I find I'm afraid of taking chances, as if I could damage my soul. But at this moment I remember it comes so clear to me that the minute I surrender, I'm as safe as I could be. I don't need to know where the time goes, 'cause God knows. I don't need to know what the future holds, 'cause God knows. I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. Oh, I need never know how pain ends, how my heart mends. I can just let go. I can just let go. I can just let go, 'cause God knows. God knows. God knows.
always loved Daniel. So we're, as I said, almost coming to the end of 2023 now, and our theme for this year has been to live out loud. It has been an encouragement to us throughout the year to stand in our truth, even when we discover sometimes, oh, maybe I wasn't quite right about that and I need to make an adjustment, to allow ourselves to fully be who we are. That's the invitation that this year has been. And so now we are in the season of Advent, and this is the second Sunday of Advent and the first Sunday of December. And our theme for this month is embracing our wholeness. So as we've been, living out loud and doing that throughout the year, now we come back full circle to embracing the wholeness that we are. That's the theme for the month. And it's also, as I said, the second Sunday of Advent. And so I'm going to light the candles here on the Advent wreath. The first candle, I said last week, was the candle of hope. And it's the recognition of the hopefulness that the people felt about their future and about the promised Savior. So it's sometimes referred to as the prophet's candle, those that foretold something better coming into the world in the future. And for us, there are those who have guided us into the future. So in a sense, when we light that candle of hope for the future, we're also lighting a candle in honor of those who had confidence and hope in our futures. And today, we're lighting the second candle, and this candle is the Bethlehem candle, and it is a candle of faith. So Bethlehem represents the birth of that presence of wholeness in the world. Not that it was the first or the last birth of wholeness in the world, but it recognizes the faith that those that came to Bethlehem had to have to go in the story. So the shepherds and the magi, the wise men who came from the east, they followed the star. The shepherds came because of the angels singing. So they came to Bethlehem in faith that there really was a reason for them to go and find something there. And so for us, sometimes our faith means that we have to go forward in our lives and make space for what we don't know yet. And the last 2 months we talked about following the yellow brick road, it really is about the path of life. We never really know what's going to happen next. But that doesn't stop us from behaving as if we did, and planning and doing all those things as if we knew exactly what was going to be available on the next day. And so when we are living in that kind of faith, we don't always realize what's coming next. Often something happens to surprise us. And then we have to see how we can adjust with our faith to that. So as we're talking about the theme today, it is, I am whole, complete, and perfect. And when I say I mean all of us. So whole, complete, and perfect, that is a fascinating description that Ernest Holmes gives at one point about his teaching us that we are whole, complete, and perfect already. And what I want to point out is that sometimes even the highest level of accomplishment is not recognized, and we don't even realize that there is some great wholeness showing up in us. I love this guy's hairy arms, by the way. So here's a story about not quite appreciating wholeness. A butcher looked up from his work one afternoon and noticed a large dog in his shop. He walked around the counter and shooed the dog away, but a few minutes later, he noticed the dog was back. So he walked over to the dog to shoo him out again, but then he noticed that the dog had a note in his mouth, and the note read, "Can I have 12 sausages and a leg of lamb, please?" The butcher looked back at the dog and realized there was cash in the dog's mouth. So the butcher took the money, put the sausages and lamb in a bag, and placed the bag in the dog's mouth. And the butcher was impressed and curious, so he decided to close the shop and follow the dog to see what he would do. And the dog walked down the street to a crossing. He put down the bag, jumped up and pressed the crossing button. He waited for the light to change, and then picked up the bag and walked across the road with the butcher still following him. At the bus stop, the dog looked at the timetable and sat down on one of the seats. And whenever a bus came along, the dog would walk to the front of the bus, look at the number, and then go back to his seat. And finally, the dog went over, looked at a bus number, and climbed on the bus. So the butcher, now open-mouthed, followed the dog onto the bus. And the bus traveled way out to the suburbs. Eventually, the dog got up, moved to the front of the bus, and standing on his hind legs, pushed the button to call for his stop. And the dog got off the bus, bag of meat still in his mouth, with the butcher right behind him. The dog approached a house, walked up the path, dropped the bag on the top step of the porch, and then walked back down the path, took a run, and threw himself, wham, at the front door. The dog went back, took another run, throwing himself again, wham, against the door. There was no answer. The dog jumped up on a narrow wall and walked along the perimeter of the garden. He got to a window and banged his head against it several times, and then he walked back and waited at the front door. A big guy opened the door and started really laying into the dog, really yelling at him, and the butcher ran up and stopped the guy. "What the heck are you doing?" The butcher hollered in astonishment. "This dog is a genius. He could be on TV, for God's sake." And the fellow responded, "Genius, my eye. This is the second time this week he's forgotten his key." Sometimes we don't appreciate perfection when it's staring us in the face. And it's not just a very talented animal that might happen with. It happens with us. We're so used to ourselves, we're so used to the people around us, that we sometimes don't appreciate what's actually there in front of us. We instead think we need to fix, repair. So when I say I am whole, complete, and perfect, meaning each one of us, then the question arises, what in the world does that mean? How could that possibly be true, that I'm whole, complete, and perfect? Because we know our flaws well. We know our shortcomings. We know in vivid detail from all the commercials we've ever watched and ads we've ever seen and billboards that there's so much out there that we could use or take or buy or wear or go to or engage in or learn about in order to be better than we are. And in that comparison, we begin to believe that we're flawed, that there's so much wrong with us that we could never possibly catch up to the ideal, but at the same time, we must try. And so we make this effort. Now, Alan Cohen said once in his book, Rising in Love, whenever we're assailed with questions, fears, or doubts about our self-worth or dignity, we must constantly say no to all that would offer to make us whole. For such a no is a resounding yes to the truth that we are already whole and could never be otherwise. And this is what Ernest Holmes wanted us to understand, that because we emerge out of divine oneness and wholeness, we are unique individualizations, individual expressions of that one, and every one of us is different from every other one, but we arise from that root. And for each one of us, there is a perfect divine template. You know, I understand that every single blade of grass is unique, different from any other blade of grass there ever was, just like every snowflake. No one's ever found two that were the same. And people have been looking at snowflakes for a very long time. So with our uniqueness, we also have our quirks and our flaws and our prejudices and our decisions about things that maybe are, I don't know, lacking accuracy or even common sense. And yet, they're ours. So how could we be whole, complete, and perfect in the midst of all that? Well, we are, because the divine template of us includes all of the possibilities for growth, expansion, and learning that we are capable of. And so we carry huge potential inside of us, as well as all the qualities that make us uniquely us. We have a perfect divine template in the infinite, in the mind of God. And as we live our lives, we make adjustments to it. But we can always realign ourselves with that original whole. Now, it isn't like a reset on your computer where you forget everything that was there before and you go back to the factory issued, because when you come back into alignment with that template, all you're doing is taking your whole self and shifting your trajectory a little bit by coming back into alignment with the whole. So our divine resets are easier to do because we can still take with us some of what we've learned. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said at one point that it's at least I think it was him, might be somebody else. I was looking at a lot of stuff yesterday, but that it's necessary for us to come in without remembering everything we've ever learned in our existence before we took birth here, now, because it would not give us the opportunity to come with a clean slate, fresh, to see what we could take in from this life. Now we do, I think, bring certain tendencies with us, but we don't have a clear memory, at least most people don't, of whatever came before. And of course, we don't feel like we know for sure yet exactly what comes after. So we have this chunk of time and life where we get to explore, discover, experiment. We don't bring in any past, prejudices and fears from previous experiences here or wherever we were before we got here. We come into this life without that memory so that we're fully available to what's coming. And when you look at this, this is a dandelion that's gone to seed. And look at how perfect it is. Every single seed is covered with little furry hairs that will carry it when it comes loose from the dandelion, to carry the seeds wherever the air moves, wherever the wind blows. And every single one of those perfectly beautiful little seeds can produce a new dandelion somewhere. If you have dirt around your house, you probably know about dandelions. So they grow, abundantly everywhere. And that perfection that you can see, that beautiful symmetry, that uniqueness, if every single one is unique, and yet they all have a similar construction, and so do we: 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth, 1 brain, 1 tongue, and whatever else. Now, occasionally we do have internal anomalies, and I guess everybody has some that they don't find unless they have to do surgery on you and they discover it. But there's a woman in Australia or New Zealand right now who is pregnant with twins, who was born with 2 uteri. And she's pregnant in both of them at the same time, which, they don't really know if she's going to deliver them at the same time or not. She has other children and apparently has given birth from each of those uteri in the past, one at a time. So this is a whole new phenomenon. So we never know what our unique template might turn out to be. Hers is certainly very unusual. It's the first time I ever heard of that kind of thing. But we're created from the source of all that is. And that one mind, one heart, one creative presence brings us forth with a lot of enthusiasm, and then lets us go out into our lives and continue to experiment and explore and create as an extension of the one. And we are as perfectly patterned as any flower or snowflake or dandelion. So how could that divine presence, being what it is, bring forth something incomplete, imperfect, damaged, I don't see really how it could do that. But what Ernest Holmes said about that was that the infinite also could not create and would not create an individual that didn't have the freedom to make any kind of choice at all. Complete freedom. And rather than punishment or reward, what we get from our actions, our thoughts, our beliefs, our communication with people, and all of that is consequences. We get consequences. The creative law receives what we're saying, thinking, doing, believing, and it takes it and brings it back in some form or fashion to us. We don't necessarily recognize that we're the originators of the energy that's returning to us in that form. But if we are lifted up because we've been very generous or very kind or had a good sense of humor, a lot of compassion, when good things come back around to us, sometimes it just looks like a surprise. We don't realize we've been seeding that all along. And in the same way, when we're always grumpy or distracted or critical, more of that shows up in our lives. And I always love to give this example about cars, and you've heard me say this before. When you get a new car, you will tend to see more of those cars on the road, whatever it was that you got, whether it's new or used, you'll tend to see more of them on the road because there's a part of our filtering system that lets those in because it confirms for us that we made a good choice. You know, look at all these other people who are buying this vehicle as well. You know, this was a good choice. Now, I told this, it's not that there are any more of them on the road, it's just that you're now noticing them when you didn't before. Are you with me here so far? Now, I had a wife of one of the practitioners in one of my churches previously who I told this story, and she came up to me afterwards and she said, Reverend Mary, we had a Mercedes that we let go of when it got old, and we bought a Toyota. And I still see Mercedes everywhere on the road rather than Toyotas. And I said, Marie, that's because you don't like the Toyota. You miss the Mercedes. You're yearning for it. That's why you're seeing them. So our filtering system tends to want to support our perspective or our beliefs. You still with me? Okay, good. All right. So in the book of Matthew, Jesus is said to have said, consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his glory was adorned like one of these. So if that's how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, will he not much more clothe you? Oh, you of little faith? And we're not really talking about clothes here. We're actually talking about the perfection. I mean, Jesus was talking about God will provide for you. Have faith in that. Because when you have faith in that, more comes. It requires the open door and the expectancy of good. Not expectation of a particular person or avenue or channel, but expectancy of good, an availability, a welcome, an openness to it. And I've said before that I am aspiring to never say no when somebody offers to help me with something. Although I told Frank no this morning. But, the situation is such that the more we're open to receiving, the more good finds its way to us. And the more generous we are with offering support and help to others, the more we have opportunity to do that, and also the more that good returns to us as well. Also, this is the time of the year that we're approaching the winter solstice. And I know you know the story of the Holly King and the Oak King, because Reverend Carroll used to make an emphasis of that around this time of year. So let me just say this. This comes from the Enchantments School blog, and it says, the holly and the oak were both sacred to the Druids, as well as the mistletoe, which grew upon the oak, another symbol of the season. Druids drew heavily on the example of nature to explain the mysteries found in the world. The oak tree relies on the holly to nurture its roots and create the underbrush that sustains the life and the heart of the forest. And the holly tree relies on the oak to shade it and make the undergrowth cool and fertile, without which the holly could not survive. Like all things on earth, we live in relationship to all the rest of life, relying on its gifts to sustain us, and life relies upon us to be good stewards of the earth and to support it to thrive as well in return. This is part of how we make the world a better place, a world that works for all of us, is by being mindful of that cycle that we're in, of being nurtured and supported and giving the same back to support that which is helping life to thrive. Alan Cohen said he has a little prayer, which is, "Dear God, please help me to recognize the truth about myself, no matter how beautiful it is." And that, I think, is a wonderful prayer, because we are so inclined to overlook how beautiful, amazing, wondrous, and unique we are. So what we want to be able to do is to recognize and affirm our wholeness, not from a place of ego, but from a place of honestly, without false humility, honestly recognizing that we are something more amazing than we understand. Somebody said to Luciano Pavarotti once, the great opera singer, "Oh, you have such a beautiful voice." And his response was, "Yes, it is a beautiful voice. Not I have, but it is a beautiful voice." And he said later, he says that because he said, "I don't know how to make a voice. All I know is how to use the voice that I have." And that, I think, was really honoring the gift in a humble way, but without false humility. You know what I mean? Recognizing the truth of it. And so regardless of the current conditions or circumstances or your history or your issues that might be of the moment, still, it's good to affirm our wholeness in spite of, in a way, whatever other appearances are making themselves known. And the reason I say that is because in the spiritual realm of being, we are always whole, complete, and perfect, no matter what the temporary circumstances are. So we need to have an awareness that what we're aligning with, our wholeness, is not determined by the changeable. Everything that can change, conditions, circumstances, what we did in the past compared to what we're doing now, whatever issues we're currently facing or concerned about, those things change. Where our wholeness comes from is the essence, the infinite, and nothing can damage, diminish, or change it. So even if you lived what would appear to other people to be a completely wasted life, you would not have damaged your infinite essence one bit. And after that apparently wasted life, you would have the opportunity then, I hope, to look back and say, okay, what did I learn there? Or, wow, now I really understand. Or, okay, now I get it. That really didn't work. So we have the learning we still get to take with us, no matter what the life looked like, because the wholeness is available to still come forward. In Psalms, it says that God said, "I said you are gods and children of the Most High, all of you." And Ernest Holmes says in the glossary to his seminal book, The Science of Mind, "We have tried to show that there is no sin but a mistake, and no punishment but a consequence. The universe isn't mad at us, God isn't offended, or the universe isn't delighted with us, and we're a favorite." Yes, you are a favorite. Every one of you is a favorite. Every one of us, because we are, out of billions and billions and billions and billions of possibilities, We're the people who are here. Ernest Holmes says, if we would come to the universal wholeness, we must approach it through the law of its own nature. We find our particular good only through unity with life. This conscious unity makes our mind receptive to completion, since life itself is complete. This perception is always an inner light. For the individual can use only such knowledge as he inwardly or she inwardly possesses. In reality, we must know God or truth only as we ourselves embody God or truth. This knowledge must be an inner light. So we are making that light brighter or dimmer depending on what we're thinking and feeling and believing. And you can tell, how do we feel inside ourselves? Is this a day that we feel pleased with, contented about, looking forward to? Is this a day that we're immersed in our aches and pains? Or are there other things that we're noticing rather than that sort of stuff, whether the ache and pain is physical, mental, emotional, whatever it might be? Looking back to that unity with all life, we can be lifted up into a brighter light. So when we affirm our wholeness, we are aligning ourselves with that which does not change. At the place that you are in your life right now, however old or young you may be, we don't know what's coming next. So for any one of us, you could walk out the door today and buy a lottery ticket and win $1 gazillion or whatever it is right now. You could get run over by a bus. You could go have a wonderful lunch that somebody treats you to. You could trip on the curb and scratch your cheek. There's any number of things that could happen that we had no idea, we didn't predict it. But we are aligning ourselves with that which is not impermanent. We're not our bodies. We're not our thoughts. There's something deeper, and it came from an infinite place, and that's where it lives. So when we get done with these vehicles, that will be just as vibrant and alive as it ever has been. It doesn't get old as people seem to do physically. John O'Donohue, the Irish priest and poet, in his book, To Bless the Space Between Us, wrote a thing called Callings, and this is an excerpt of that. He says, "The great law of life is to be yourself. Though this axiom sounds simple, it's often a difficult task. To be yourself, you have to learn how to become the person you were dreamed to be. Each person has a unique destiny. To be born is to be chosen. There is something special that each of us has to do in the world. If someone else could do it, they would be here and not us. One of the fascinating questions is to decipher what one's destiny is. At the heart of each destiny is hidden a unique life calling. What are you called to do? In old-fashioned language, what is your vocation in life? When you find that what you're doing is what you love, what you were brought here to do, it makes for a rich and contented life. You have come into the rhythm with your longing. Your work and your action emerge naturally. You don't have to force yourself. Your energy is immediate. Your passion is clear and creative. A new calling can open the door into the house of your vision and belonging. You feel at home in your heart. Heart and hearth are one. And it may be that our calling can be something simple. I'm not talking about a career here. I'm not talking about saving the world. It's just following the impulse of our heart, moment by moment, and not letting the intellect too much. I mean, we have to give it some space to be reasonable, but not letting it too much talk us out of our spontaneous impulse to be kind or to be compassionate or forgiving or understanding or taking a little more time with someone. It may be that your calling is to respond with your presence, being fully present with each person that you come into contact with, each person that you speak to, because no one you come into contact with will be met in exactly the way that you will meet them. No one. And it may be that your meeting with that one person, whether it was just a smile or a hi, how are you, or exchanging mail or something, that moment was the whole reason that you were here for them in that moment. So whether we know specifically what it is that we're called to be here for, we're here so we know we're called. And it's not necessary for us to go out looking to find it in order to know what it is. You know, it sometimes sounds like it's up to us. They tell kids when they're seniors in high school, well, what do you want to do with your life? With your life. Their brains aren't even grown up yet. It's ridiculous I mean, very few people at 16, 17, 18 years old really know what they want to do with their lives. Some do. Some came in knowing, but they're rare. And for some of us, our life path, here's what we do. We just trust that our life path is introducing us to those moments that we're here for. And all we have to do is meet those moments. We'll miss a lot of them, but hopefully we meet more than we miss. But even if we meet a lot fewer of them than we actually experience, we have still given something that would never have been given without us. So we are already a blessing. I know that there is not one person in this room who has not done an extraordinary kindness for someone at some time. And similarly, I believe there is not one of us in this room who has not experienced receiving an extraordinary kindness from someone. Let's remember that so that we know we are whole, complete, and perfect, just as we are. Namaste. Now let's take a moment to go within and just anchor this for ourselves. So breathing in, take a deep breath as we know together that the divine mystery, the infinite presence, the one that we call God, Great Spirit, Atman, whatever the name is, of that infinite intelligence and creative beingness of love, that it is all there is. And all that has come forth into form is just the overflow of that magnificent infinity spilling over into form. God's self slowed down enough to be visible as everything that is, for now. And we're so grateful to be a part of that expression, to experience this life, to be given all these opportunities and the power behind the creative law that works within us all the time. We're so grateful for the experiences that have helped us to learn and the experiences of grace that have come to us unbidden as far as we know. We're deeply grateful for this whole life walk, exactly as it is and exactly as it isn't. And we're grateful finally for ourselves right here, right now, as the holy in expression. So we let this prayer of appreciation go, knowing that we are whole, complete, and perfect right now. We let this knowing go into the law for more manifestation, saying, Thank you. Please continue. We let it go and we let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. Please stand and join me for the morning affirmation. And we say together, we are each whole, complete, and perfect, just as we are, no exceptions. The spiritual essence within me is undamaged by my errors and false beliefs. I am a developing soul, discovering my true nature. I'm grateful to know it's never too late to embrace my wholeness. And so it is. Thank you. You can sit down. So this is the time of our sacred offering. And think about what you've been entrusted with in the world. Your work, your home, your garden if you have one, your children or grandchildren, taking care of your own body or your pets, all that you've been entrusted with, not just now, but over the course of your entire life. The universe has trusted us with a great deal. And when we come to this part of Sunday, it's our opportunity to look at this abundance that we've been given and decide if we're going to pass on a portion of it. The universe allows us to be divine distributors of the good that we have received. Those of you online, if you would like to share a gift with Golden Gate this morning, you can always text a donation to the number on the screen. And that's true for you in the room as well. Now, if you're here for the first time this morning, your presence here with us is your gift. But for all of us who are part of Golden Gate, then we give in various ways on Sunday and in other times, and we want to bless the offerings we're receiving that you're giving this morning. And so we do this together in unison. And those of you at home, please do this as well. So hold your hands over your heart with your gift. And if you're giving it with a loved one, you can hold it in your hands together this way. As we bless the offering, and we say this also together in unison. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. Yes.
I think I've sung this next one for you, but it came to mind for the theme for today. I'm going to press play on this track from this recording from like 2001 or 2002 from my album called One Power. Let's see how this goes. So many doubts along the way. Felt like life was just another bill to pay without anything to show. But now I've figured out that every day my fortune's always found within my faith. And all I needed was to let it flow, 'cause there's no wall around me, only fear has ever bound me. And all I need is trust and I am free. I'm sitting on a gold mine. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Oh yeah. My treasure has been right here all the time. I'm sitting on a gold mine. Finally, I'm breaking through so many lies. All those people telling me to run and hide from the truth of what I am. But now I'm telling you, the future's bright. Tomorrow shines like diamonds in the sky. And all I needed was to understand that whatever I'm believing, well, that's what I'm receiving from the riches that reside inside of me. I'm sitting on a gold mine. on a gold mine. Oh yeah, my treasure has been right here all the time. I'm sitting on a gold mine. So don't you listen, never listen to that voice that says you better play it safe, that says you don't have any choice, 'cause you're as gifted as an angel, as brilliant as the sun. Just say the word and heaven has begun. We're sitting on a gold mine. Sitting on a gold mine. We're sitting on a gold mine. Oh yeah. Our treasure has been right here all the time. We're sitting on a gold mine. Oh yeah, we're sitting on a gold mine. All right, we're sitting on a gold mine. Ooh. Sitting on a gold mine. Oh yeah. I had so much fun writing this song. I was just a baby when I recorded this. Thank you so much. That was a little walk down memory lane. Hope you enjoyed that. Sitting on a gold mine. Thanks.
He always has such a good time. It's one of the things I appreciate about him. So all of us together on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living accept this offering. And we send it out into the world to seed that awareness in people that they are whole, complete, and perfect right now. And so it is. So if you happen to be here with us for the first time today, I want to direct your attention to
Be at the back, a little square table in the back. If you're new, I'd love to see you.
is it in the lobby?
Yes.
Okay, so the welcome table is in the lobby. Go and see Galen at the welcome table. Pick up a welcome packet out there or any other handouts that you want from that table. And there's a blue card inside that welcome packet. If you fill that out and give it to Galen, she's going to give you a little book as our thank you gift to you for coming today and checking us out. And it's also an invitation to you to come back and be with us in the future. We'd love to get to know you and have you as part of our Golden Gate family. I want to especially thank everybody who helped us create. Now, so I'm also thanking the community center and all of the artists in their art show right now. This art installation was here when we got here this morning. They do this annually, but I'd forgotten it was happening now. Plus, all the decorations they put up everywhere. Well, these have been here, but we love them. And we have our crafts tables up as well, which I'll say more about in just a minute. But I especially also want to draw your attention to the altar. So Joanna Hughes did this morning, and this is dedicated to the Coventry Chapel, right? Coventry Cathedral. And there's a whole story behind Coventry and what happened there and why it's especially appropriate to honor it. And if you want the details, you can look in the little book that's right up here or talk to Jo, and she'll be happy to tell you more about it. But thank you. So let's appreciate everybody who's been involved this morning in pulling this day together for us. Now, if your birthday is in December, then we need to honor you right now. So if you have a December birthday, would you stand? We're going to sing you happy birthday. And if you're at home and your birthday's in December, you stand up too. All right. Very good. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear December. Happy birthday to you. We celebrate you. Now, you may be aware that Golden Gate used to have a Meetup account and we let it go. But we now have a new member whose background is in marketing for nonprofits, who is doing some volunteer work, helping us get our marketing up and going more robustly. And so Meetup is available for all the people that are around us here to know what we're doing. And to encourage that, it is helpful for any of us who go on Meetup to look at Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living and just click attending on any one of the events that you plan to come to. Now, don't click it if you're not coming, but if you're coming, click attending. When the attendance is showing there on the page, it encourages more people to check it out, whether they check it out online or right here in the room with us. So Meetup is free. I mean, you can get an advanced one that isn't free, but Meetup is free. You just go to meetup.com and sign up. Then look up Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living and accept a way that you're going to be attending things. Join the group, and then just you'll be able to access all of that information, and we would love to have you do that. It would be huge help for us. Our holiday crafts fair is happening today. Our vendors have put out wonderful stuff back there. You pay the vendors directly, and you can get a little Christmas shopping done early. There's all kinds of fun stuff back there. Everything from jewelry and pottery to Christmas decorations to postcards and everything in between. So make sure you take some time to check that out for gifts. That'll be right after the service this morning. Also, next Sunday is our men's brunch. And guys, I'm encouraging you, as always, please talk to Russ. He's the one who's here this morning. Please talk to Russ. He's waving his arm back there about getting involved in helping. You don't necessarily have to cook, but it's next Sunday. It's only $10. And next Sunday, it's a Middle Eastern brunch. So there'll be dolmas and hummus and falafel, yes, and all that kind of stuff. It'll be just delicious, as always. So just please plan to come and join us for that next Sunday. Also, coming up on Tuesday, December 12th, we're doing our monthly session at the San Francisco Marin Food Bank. And we go to the warehouse in San Rafael to help pack food. And this is for it to be distributed out to other local distributors that are near where people need the food. So it's only 2 hours, it's just once a month. And if you would like to do it this month, talk to Ellen Nicosia, who is right back there right now. And Ellen will get you on the list for this month. And December is a particularly good month to volunteer to do something like this, because this is a month where food, a lot of the holidays are about food. And it's, I think, psychologically harder for people at a time like that when they don't have much to eat. So we really encourage that participation. And it is from 12 to 2 on Tuesday, December 12th at the San Rafael warehouse. And let Ellen know either this way or directly, and we'll get you involved in that. We are doing an open house at our new office. Everything is now in the new office. It's, yeah. And I want to send a huge blessing out to the movers, the guys that we hired to come and help us with the move, because we would never have gotten the stuff out of there without them. 4 strong, young guys who knew exactly what they were doing and managed to maintain a level of patience with us the entire time that was quite astounding. Getting it all in there was kind of interesting at one point. It's not all, put away yet, but we now have a new home. So we're doing the open house. We moved it from the 14th to the 15th. So it's on Friday, the 15th of December now. And you can come by anytime between 11 and 3. We'll have coffee, we'll have cookies, and you can see where we live now. And so that's the building we're in, and we're in Suite 217. There is an elevator in the building, lots of parking under the freeway, and it's on all the transit lines, including the SMART train. So come and see us on Friday, December 15th. Also, just reminding you that our Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve services will not be here. This building is closed. But we will have them at 10 o'clock both of those mornings, and it's going to be at the Best Western Corte Madera Inn over on Madera Boulevard. We've been there times before, so you'll know when you get in there, or just follow the crowd, and you'll be fine. Also want to remind you, if any of you are among our congregants who have distributions to do, charitable distributions to do before the end of the year, Golden Gate would love to welcome your year-end contributions, and be sure to get them to us before the end of December so that they will go into your tax-deductible record for this year. Also, just want to say, we are still offering the opportunity to declare your intended giving for 2024, which really helps us plan. And the cards for that are out on the table in the lobby as well. So we welcome both of those things. All right. So now I want to remind you, we have a practitioner table over here this morning with Ann Sullivan, one of our licensed practitioner emeritus people, and she's available for prayer following the service. So please talk to Ann if you would like a prayer for guidance when you go shopping here, or whatever else you might want a prayer for. And you can also put requests into the prayer box there on the table. We welcome them, and they will be prayed over them throughout the week. So now I'm going to invite you to stand for the closing blessing, but then remember, you're going to sit back down for a couple minutes after we do this, and then we'll sing our way out. So we say this also together. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally, and so it is. Now sit down, because Daniel's going to talk for a little while.
One more song to sing together today. We've done it recently, so you should know it by heart, but maybe we'll slip the lyrics onto the screen anyway. And thank you for letting me go down memory lane a little bit to do Sitting on a Gold Mine and I Don't Need to Know. Those are two songs from the album One Power, which was 20 plus years ago now. And I really meant them when I wrote them. I've always loved singing them, and I don't sing them very often anymore. So it was really fun to share those songs with you. I do hope you enjoyed them as much as I enjoyed singing them for you. And one last thing, I've been doing this thing called an accountability group. It's a long name for something very simple. If you're a procrastinator, if you haven't been able to sit down and pay your taxes, or clear your garage clutter, or learn an instrument, or finish the book you've been trying to write, or whatever it is, or delete emails. If you've got a pile of stuff you can't get through, the accountability group may be perfect for you. It's small amount of time, a few times a week. All we do is log into Zoom together, say what we're going to do, and then go do it. 24 minutes at a time, twice for 1 hour. And it's unbelievable how much people are getting done. I'm promoting it, and I don't really make a profit of it at all. It costs next to nothing to join. And in fact, if you don't have any extra cash, but you'd like to join, please, you'll be my guest. You're invited no matter what. Just look at my website, danielnamod.com. I'll have a couple of groups starting in January. There are a couple ending in the next 2 weeks or so. But like twice a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm online and getting things done. So if that sounds interesting to you for the new year, join me, won't you? Just try it for a day and see how it goes. I promise you, you'll be shocked how much you get done. So here we go. One more song to close.
Now you can stand.
I believe my last appearance of the year. It has been such a pleasure, sincerely, to sing for you so many times this year. And I'm excited to see you in person in February again. Here we go.
It's going to be here in February.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. About lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Thank you so much. Have a great week ahead. Happy holidays. Bye.